Welcome to the monthly activation for March 2021. So last month we journeyed, actually in January, we journeyed into between time, and then February was dream time. So I'm really curious as to where we'll go today and what the overall theme and message and information that will be coming through for us today. As per usual, and has been the custom since the start of the year, I've begun to incorporate the quantum technology of the HUE, and I take the daily drawing image as the representation for the group session and record the vibration. So the HUE can then scan the field of the hologram of our group. So no matter when in space and time that you view this recording and receive this activation, not only will you be getting the downloads and informations and experiencing the shifts and changes in your own field, you'll also be receiving the informational field frequencies of the HUE as well. So it's like double dose of multi-dimensional frequencies coming at you from the human realm and from the technological realm on a quantum level. So that's pretty exciting. So when I scanned us today, what I'll be running for you and what is actually going to be running in just a moment is mostly hormones and how it affects digestion. So for all of you who are dealing with any of those issues, just notice over the next 7 to 10 days if there's any shift in that for you. And I would definitely love to hear your experiences as in that regard. So the HUE is now transmitting the frequencies to our hologram for this monthly activation. So now let me bring up the drawing for you. And this is what the drawing looks like for today. I actually quite like it. And what came through in the drawing was a lot of exciting things coming, but it might not feel that way. It felt like things were coming undone, falling away, like the crud was cracking off. And what I saw was like this black, like that looked like charcoal, kind of, and rocky, like maybe lava kind of texture, like hard lava rock. And it was just crumbling and falling away. But there was something just really nascent and beautiful that's been waiting to come through. But through that process, it feels quite uncomfortable, but it's actually very exciting. Part of you feels disconnected, floaty, detached. But I ask you, come back here now. It just felt, because we have a tendency as humans when things are uncomfortable and we don't necessarily know how to be with that, but we've developed really good coping mechanisms, either consciously or on a subconscious level, to manage those difficult and challenging situations in our life. And some of us tend to detach. We tend to go out of body. Like anything traumatic, we leave our body in some way or another. And we become floaty, detached. There's another word I want to say around that. Disassociated, possibly. So the detached state denies you access to the truth within, an embodied state. So the truth within is an embodied state. And when we're detached and disembodied, then we're losing out on all the information. It's not like we're still not getting the information, but we're not paying attention to the information because we're out here somewhere. But when we begin to come back to the body, we become anchored and grounded and rooted and centered within our divine technology, within our physical form, within our avatar that we have chosen on a soul level to incarnate into, to experience this realm and to shift the consciousness of this time, then we're able to perceive through space and time all the information that's coming through. And we are able to listen to the truth, just have that inner listening. We're able to discern things for ourselves as it is being communicated to us and through us. But most of us are stuck in the mental thought forms within the entities of thoughts and those loops. And we're not operating from an embodied state, an embodied heart-centered state, where we can just take in the information of the multidimensional self and have that step down in frequency as it makes its way through our physical body, through the energetic interfaces through which we interact with the world that bridge our inner and outer world, and make sense of them in a heart-centered way, rather than in a distorted, dissonant way. So we operate from a coherent space, and then we have all the skills and all the technology within, and all the knowing and access to our insight and our inner wisdom and our guidance. We have access to all the answers that we ever need. We have access to space and time and the entire informational field, your Akashic records, your spirit guides, your higher self, the future, other lifetimes, whatever it is. We also have access to the creational powers. This is your technology. And so when we start to anchor back into that, then we activate the human, the light being within the physical body. Very exciting. Okay. There are patterns that seek to keep you away, yet you must persevere. So these patterns that seek to keep you away are either coping mechanisms or old subconscious patterns in programming, or patterns in programming from the external world that thrive off lower density vibrations that you emit. So fear-based consciousness, for example. But you must persevere and really continue to turn inwards, continue to come in and down into the body. To not be susceptible to outside voices or influences, one must turn inward. So, just what I had said. The only messages you need to hear arise from the light within. Let it guide you and shine the way. Do not be deceived by bright, shiny objects as they appear real in your mirror. And as that was coming through, I saw the writing on the side view mirror of your car, like objects in mirror are closer than they appear, but objects in mirror are not real. Right? They appear real. And you know, that being said, even though this information and this wisdom that I receive when I read the field and share it with you, you do not have to believe me. You do not have to trust me. That's totally fine with me. I encourage you to discern if what is coming through me for you is truth for you. And use that skill now. Use that inner listening now. And for me, the way that I know what is true for me, it becomes a full-bodied experience. My body really is, you get the truth bumps sometimes, right? Or you get the chills, or you just feel energized or expansive, whatever it is in the way that your body communicates to you. Let that truth speak to you. And then respond from there. And cultivate that inner listening. I'm just going to read through this one more time. So a lot of exciting things coming, but it might not feel that way. Things coming undone, falling away. The crud is cracking off. Part of you feels disconnected, floaty, detached. But I ask you, come back here now. The detached state denies you access to the truth within, an embodied state. There are patterns that seek to keep you away, yet you must persevere to keep you away from your body. To not be susceptible to outside voices or influences, one must turn inward. The only messages you need to hear arise from the light within. Let it guide you and shine the way. Do not be deceived by bright, shiny objects as they appear real in your mirror. Okay, so that's what came through in our drawing today. And let us get comfortable so we can arrive together with the breath. So find a place where you can either lay down comfortably or sit comfortably. We're going to do some slight body movements, so I don't want you to be hindered in any way. Okay. Beautiful. So from here, just find a place, allow your body to begin to move so that it gently starts to open on its own. It's going to find a position where those channels, it's like unkinking a tube, but you have multitudes of these tubes, whether physical or energetic, running through the body. So we're just going to allow the body to move very subtly, very gently in ways that it's going to unwind and unkink these tubules throughout the body, so the energy and that information can begin to flow through you. Good. Just feel how that feels. Just the body's own wisdom, right? The body is going to move in the way that it needs to. If I try to do this myself and I try to find those positions, I'm actually creating compression in some areas and expansion in others. But when I allow the body to do it, there's a fluidity and an unwinding in a beautiful holographic and holofractal way. Yeah, your toes might start wiggling, right? It's kind of like you're waking up to yourself within yourself. In gyrotonic, we say that we're yawning within, or finding the yawn. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes, I can feel everybody just from doing that starting to come down into the body. It's that simple and that effortless. So if we give ourselves the space to move, then we can come into our body. Without movement, there is no life. Without breath, there is no life. Breath is movement. There we go. And as you're continuing to do that, just gently bring your awareness down into the lower abdomen, into the lower heaven. And there's a sphere. See if you can feel this orb that kind of has its residence in your lower belly, about a hand's width below the navel. There you go. And just kind of check in and see the size of this orb. This is actually a very potent place for your life force and vitality. There you go. Good, nice connecting, everyone. So from here, you're just going to continue to allow the body, or mostly the lower body, to kind of find its balance point around this sphere. It's like a joint in a way where you have the ball in the socket and you're pivoting around this ball that's in the lower belly until you find a perfect feeling of balance. Just a feeling of balance. So just allow the body to find its balance. And I'll give you a visual also that I have found useful. Is if you imagine you're on a plane and you have the image of the wings that you look at on your instrument panel to keep you level to the ground. So you can imagine your wings coming out from your hips that are attached to that orb, and they're finding their balance. So they're level to, there you go, level to the ground. That's a good one. Good. So finding those subtle movements. And when you find that balance point, you'll know. You'll lock in. There you go. Beautiful. And just notice what happens to your body as you begin to find your balance around this energetic center. Beautiful. I just took a big breath when I found mine, and then the wind kicked up at the same time, so the earth is breathing with us. Beautiful. And just notice how your breath has changed as you continue to connect and find your balance around this lower heaven, this center, this lower center. There's a lot of information coming through right now. We're opening up the channels together. Beautiful. So from here, we're going to do the same thing, but in the middle heaven, in the chest. So just take a moment with your mind's eye and your awareness, and then connect with that orb in the center of the chest. And just notice its size, its luminosity. Just noticing. There we go. You've already sprouted wings, I see. So yes, allow those wings to find their balance point where they're constantly, see, even when you're flying, right? If you're in a plane, it's always doing this. It's never just straight. There's always currents that it is flying with or against. Yeah, there you go. So you're finding that balance point, those subtle movements. And your body will find its center around this middle heaven, this middle dantian. There we go. A lot of energy now coming up through the neck, back of the head. And just allow your body to continue to move however it needs in this process. It knows what to do. It is self-intelligent. Actually knows more than you do, I believe. It's capable of perceiving so much more than our conscious mind. There we go. Beautiful. Now that crown is starting to open. Feel that life force. Feel your breath. Beautiful. So now we're just going to take a couple of moments just to anchor in the breath into that lower heaven. So all the breathing that we're going to be doing is going to be from this lower belly. The inhale is going to be from that lower belly. My hand's going to be pooched out. And then inhaling through the nose. So the kidneys in Chinese medicine actually bring that lung qi down into the physical body. That's what's happening here. And the lungs open up to the nose. So we're anchoring that spirit, that life force, that lung qi, and bringing it in with our kidneys, with our kidney energy. Okay, so let's just practice that inhale just a couple of times. Good. And then on the exhale, it's still going to be generated by the lower belly, which you cannot see at the moment because Muji's here. But you're just going to exhale from that place out through the mouth. So, but it's the belly that's that pump, that moving it out. Okay, so inhaling, exhaling. And it's all coming from that lower center. Okay, so let's just do that for a couple of rounds. You put your hands on your lower belly to help guide the breath and the movement. Inhaling together. Keeping your attention on that lower belly as you continue to breathe. Good. A few more. Last one, long exhale. And relax. And here you might feel floaty, but in a good way, not a detached way, in an expansive way. Beautiful. There's a lot of information coming through. Okay, so continue just to feel what you've awakened and enlivened within yourself. You may continue with that breathing process however you'd like while I bring in the sounds. So automatically, I'm just starting to see like a bird kind of flying in. Birds are messengers from the heavens, right? Bird tribe. And there actually is like carrying a little note in its beak. And the message that I hear when I open the note, because I'm hearing what's written on it and I'm seeing it, it says, "We are one. We are one. Never forget, we are one." Wow. Okay, so this image of this one bird, when I kind of took a microscopic view of the bird, I saw it was composed of every single bird that is known to man. So all the birds are comprising this one bird. And now they're kind of all flying off into their own universe, but still staying connected. It's like they are holographic. So each bird still carries the pattern and information from that one bird as it goes off into the heavens, into the skies, into the waters, wherever it goes, into the trees. So the image of that original bird is still being carried on the wings and in the heart of each individual bird. And now I'm seeing a bear come to us. And the bear is saying, we are all one. And each hair on this bear's body is also an individual bear throughout time. And then they all go off into their different terrain and climates and continents, each carrying the imprint of this original bear. And then I'm seeing the bear in the heavens as well, in the star system, in the constellations. And the bird as well has its influence and cosmic imprinting in the stars above. And now we come to man. And I'm hearing man is directly of the heavens, as is all of life. And I'm not seeing one man, I'm not seeing a male figure or a female figure. I'm actually seeing just a light body representation of the human. It's kind of morphing in and out between the two genders, between the male and female. It can take any shape it wants in any lifetime that it chooses to incarnate. And even other life forms as well on other planets. So it's just this light body that's shifting, like kind of pulsing from form to form, back and forth, oscillating. There's the word, oscillating. And we all carry the feminine, the inner divine feminine. We all carry the inner divine masculine, or if you study Jung, you would be familiar with the anima and the animus in Chinese medicine, the yin and the yang. So we all have these internal aspects, and when those two are in balance and in harmony, then things flow. And then I see the crown open up and these beautiful waveforms and toroidal shape coming out from the body. Feeling and anchoring in a coherent way to the connectedness with Source itself. And so we have that imprint of the light of these energies that reside within the heart. And we have the physical manifestation that when we come down into that lower belly from where we were breathing. There we go. So it's kind of settling in more in one kind of light frequency of form for human. And I'm seeing the heart chakra. And I'm actually seeing it spin, but it's spinning counterclockwise. And I'm going to invite it to spin the other way in a harmonious way. So I feel like it's being drained when it's spinning counterclockwise. And I want to invite it to spin in a clockwise manner. So I'm going to bring in my high heart fork. And I'm hearing that you've given your power away for far too long as a species. And those that embody their divine power and have been your teachers throughout millennia, the masters and such, they feel like a threat to some, as we know throughout history. Those that embody the light are a threat to those who want to subsist off the lower energies of the humans and animals too, of other life, rather than being sustained through the divine nature of who they are. Yet at the same time, these players of the shadow light are incredible teachers as well, because the dualistic world that we have been living in for millennia and transitioning into a new frequency state and vibration hold that template, that contrast for us to hold the light at an even exponential level. So it's a beautiful balance, right, between the two. If you didn't know this, then you wouldn't be able to have this. You wouldn't know one without the other. And so they're a representation of our desire to bring in and access and embody more light. And it's not even just outside shadow players, it's our own shadows as well. Because there is no out there. All is a creation from within. And so this also gives us an opportunity to use the outer world as a mirror to reflect upon our own shadows. And to recognize that these are just lower frequencies and vibrations that the light has not yet penetrated within our own being. The light is there, where we just haven't been able to see past the shadow within ourselves. But as we begin to fine-tune and attune our perception through embodiment practices and activating the light body within the physical body, awakening the vitality and flow in our connection with Source, our light quotient becomes greater and greater. And so that alone will begin to shine light on these shadows, and they begin to fade over time. They just get absorbed by that light, because higher frequencies will entrain lower ones. So that shadow will just transform on its own into light. We all know that they're there, and they take up so much of our attention, whether it's these repetitive thoughts or self-criticisms and judgments, what have you. However they manifest in our lives, we pretty much, I think, know our shadow self in one way or another. But how much attention are you giving to the light of who you are? There we go. Just kind of brought it all in. So I invite you to spend each day from here on out paying attention to the light of who you are, more than you pay attention to the shadow of who you are. And if you do come across the shadow of who you are, that's perfectly well. Oh, hello. Nice to see you again. Come with me. We're going to go play in the light for a bit. And just bring him along with you, or bring her along with you. There we go. We embrace all aspects of self. There we go. So all those places that we come up against ourselves, those shadow places, even ones shadows that we don't even know that are hidden from ourselves. I lost the stream. I got to go back and get it. So all of those places that we come up against ourselves are places where we are in resistance to the light of who we are. There's a resistance there, but if for a moment we let go of the resistance, we surrender to what we're feeling in that moment, no matter how uncomfortable it is, we're just present with that, bringing in the breath. Let's bring in the breath right now, breathing from that lower abdomen. Moving it with the breath, cleansing and clearing. There you go. bringing that vitality and life force to that feeling, it begins to move. It does not get stuck. What happens is a lot of those experiences and expressions get stuck in our field. And when we do these practices, or whatever movement practice or meditation practice you have, in addition to these activations and alchemical journeys, whatever you do to increase your vibrational state and care for your vibrational health, that allows these denser energies to continue their movement and expression, and you give them voice. And you're present with them, and you witness them, and you embrace them, and you love them. Because they are you. They are you. They are you. We are all one. They are me. You are me, and I am you. And when each one of us does this work and takes steps into that courage of the heart, that light of the heart, and just gently meets those places, ever so gently, with awareness, with love, and with the breath, and with movement, and with art, and with poetry, and with dance, and with laughter, and with tears, ever so gently, we awaken together. And anyone who shares those patterns with you is also elevated as well. Because a rising tide floats all boats. So you do such beautiful work when you work for yourself. Because not only are you transforming your own frequency into your signature note, into your unique blueprint and vibration, but you're also sending those waves out to everybody else who is in resonance with those patterns that you have just transformed for yourself, and enables them to shift as well. And they're shifting with you. We all shift together. So any shift you make within, the world shifts with you. Any change or transformation you make within, the world transforms with you. We harmonize the nature of oneself. Harmonizing the nature of oneself. Harmonizing the nature of oneself. Beautiful. Bring in the wisdom of the chimes and just continue to feel that harmonization, that inner harmony. And then see if you can even just feel into the souls around you. You may not even know them, but those out there in the field, in the waters of oneness, who are grateful to you for your courage in meeting yourself in those darker places and bringing your light to them, and in turn bringing light to the world. The wisdom of the chimes. So I started off showing me, she's showing me like just an orb, a sphere, but it looked like hematite almost. It had that kind of sheen to it. And then there were like many, and they started to kind of form like a crystalline structure in a grid with all the atoms being compressed, and each orb was a different person. And then it started to kind of morph into more like of a atomic state where the atoms were bouncing off of each other and creating different configurations. And then they started to transform into different sacred geometric forms. And then I was seeing like Metatron's cube and a dodecahedron and all sorts of things it was kind of morphing into. And then once I saw an icosahedron and a dodecahedron, I was taken into the realm of water and looking at the element of water and taking us back to the notion that we're all a drop in the ocean, but we are the ocean as well, of that concept. And then it took me into the waters of the body, and then the reminder of please stay hydrated and do drink after this session so you can retain the information of these frequencies and let the old frequencies leave the body. So being hydrated is really important when you're doing any frequency work or body work. So that remembrance came through. And then from the waters, I saw a dolphin appear, which always makes me smile. To me, that's pure joy. And then the dolphin was just, dancing through the waters. And then it became dancing through the waters of space. And I just saw the dolphin in the heavens diving into the waters as well. And recognizing that my own blueprint and configuration is also a constellation in the heavens as well, as are you. You have your own cosmic star constellation and configuration in the heavens as well. So it's just bringing that awareness back to the beginning of our journey today when we were talking about the animals that have their constellations in the heavens, but each one of us does as well. We each do as well. And yeah. Wow. Well, thank you for joining me on today's monthly activation. Please do share your experiences. I love to hear from you and how the things that you notice as the weeks and days continue to unfold for you. And Muji thanks you, and Lilu thanks you. She likes to hold it down inside while he has to be out here really running the show. And I thank you. So thank you for coming together to harmonize the nature of oneself. Blessings.